Billy came back and you know the kids were really young, and he said, "Dad," and I went, "Yeah." And he went, "How old were you when you started wanking?"
Hello and welcome to Seriously with Sarah Beeny. Let's face it, having open and honest conversations with your family isn't always easy. But on this podcast, that's exactly what we're going to do. So this week, we're going to talk about having far too many children, thirst traps, whatever they are, and ambition. Hello and welcome to Seriously with Sarah Beeny.
And I'm Charlie Swift.
I'm Billy, aka The Stinger. I didn't choose to be called The Stinger. People just start calling me The Stinger in social situations.
Oh my God. Such an idiot. We have let, this week, Graham come back, my husband.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming
Dad,
back.
say hi to the camera.
Hi, I'm Graham.
Actually, I'm quite flattered that you were prepared to come back this week and weren't traumatised by last week's episode.
You gave me counselling for the week, telling me how I was going to be okay.
Yeah, telling you how wonderful you were.
Yeah.
And then
I thought you were really good last week, so I'm glad that you're back.
Thank you very much
Yes.
indeed. That's nice. That was a more resounding sort of a compliment,
No, you
wasn't
were
it? From
brilliant.
Charlie?
I reckon you should be a standing part of the series, although it is still Seriously with
a
Sarah
standing
Beeny.
spare part.
Yeah, well, all
No,
three of you.
I think eventually we'll put Stinger, Charlie and Graham on it.
So this week we're going to talk about having far too many children, thirst traps, whatever they are, and ambition.
I can give you an answer to one of those things.
What's that?
Having too many children.
Did you have too many children?
I had too many children. I don't know what a thirst thing is, and ambition, I think, is probably...
How many would you
I'm
have
not in a
had?
great
What,
position.
two?
How many children? I'd have had
Will
a
you
boy and a
stop?
girl. That's what I was having.
Really? So did you always want a big family then?
Yeah, I wanted 6 children. I watched the Waltons when I was young and I used to think it was wonderful. And I thought, I'll have 6 children, that'd be perfect.
Okay, so what is the Waltons? I've never seen it.
Oh, it was wonderful. It was basically well, I always thought it was a documentary, but I discover
It's a drama.
it's
Is
a
it a
drama. They lied to me because actually having loads of children is not like the Waltons at all. They're not all happy and lovely. In fact, you're really annoying, all of you.
Well, then our TV shows are...
But
I mean, it is your TV show.
If The Waltons
but
was 24 hours though, I imagine it was only just an hour every week.
Yes.
And they just picked the best bits.
Oh no, it wasn't even a documentary. It was actually a drama. To be honest, it was completely a drama. It wasn't.
It was
they
like
didn't
a really,
have.
really famous American drama. We actually had to gear the week around watching the Waltons so that Sarah could dream about living in a family with her dad and 15 children. And they were all so well behaved.
Oh, they were lovely.
They were so nice. And there was loads of girls in the mix. And they lived in a really nice ramshackle house, and Mum could wear dungarees
It would be,
the whole time.
but if you're being totally honest with you, it would have been a bit annoying because imagine if they were really nice all the time.
Yeah, that's what I
You would
was
hate-
imagining.
No, you would
hate
hate
it.
that.
No, that
would.
was
Because you
Perfect.
thrive off of us being annoying and stuff.
I
That's why we
don't.
do it.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh,
Have you ever
gosh.
wondered why Mum was so desperate for you to be creative, though? She didn't want you to be clever. You know, she just wanted you to be creative. That's why she makes you play the piano so much.
Really?
Well,
Maybe
just
I
wanted-
would be really good at maths if you
You
pushed
probably
me into
would.
it from a really young age.
Laurie's really good at maths. He said to me yesterday, "I love maths, Mum. I can't wait till my."
He never said that to you.
He did. He
He
said, "I
never
can't
said
wait
that
till
to
my
you.
I
next
genuinely
maths
think I
lesson."
might have to file for divorce because he is obviously not my child if he's good at maths.
You've married your child?
I failed my GCSE maths first time round.
Did you actually?
Yeah.
You've never admitted that.
Never admitted
Oh
that.
my God.
Oh, did I just say that out loud?
So the fact is that I did want lots of children because I thought it would be fun. And you told me once, I remember Dick and Caroline getting in the car with their 4 children and Dad turned to me and he went, "That's a party on wheels, that, isn't it?" And I thought, that's it, we've got to have lots of children. Now, I would have had 6, but after Laurie was born and we had 4, Dad suddenly was really happy to be quite insistent about not having any more children.
I love,
six
I love
is-
where you were going with that. You were about to talk about our marital congress for a moment there and saying that nothing else was happening.
No,
And
he literally
I
walked
suddenly
into the
became
bedroom with a-
very, very careful. Not that you two really want to hear about your mother and I having sexual intercourse,
No.
but
Look, they look really broken. Don't do that. Look, they're going
Did
to
I
be
also just
sick.
say the word sexual intercourse?
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's
everyone. I really
really-
didn't
You sound
mean
like
to
a
do that.
GCSE
Just-
biology teacher.
Well, that was sort of. I was trying to
Literally.
make it more palatable for the
Just
pair
say-
of you, but
just
it doesn't
say-
look like it.
I'm not
happened.
going to come over here and get on the podcast and use this platform to talk about my sex life, am I? So
Yeah.
why don't we just all...
And when I tell you that it's... when I tell you that it's... What?
Should we just move off
Let me
all
tell
our
you a
sex-
thing or two about your mother.
Oh my God. I knew we shouldn't have got Dad on the podcast. He's
let's
ruined the
do it.
whole dynamic. It's sick now.
But there was 10 years when you were on TV and you were constantly pregnant. What was it like filming while you were constantly pregnant?
Actually, it was fine filming when you're pregnant.
Everyone knows because this is such a well-known thing,
That I was
especially when
pregnant.
especially when you have more than one child. You never love anything quite as much as your first child. So I was wondering what your experiences were with giving birth to your first child, and whether that kind of
Why are you
what
looking
that
at
was
me
like.
when you're asking that question?
Because obviously, you know,
I didn't give birth to you.
no, I know, but when I came along, obviously it was quite different because suddenly you were like, oh my God.
Our life was over. The
I
life
could
as
have
we
ne-
knew it was
I
over.
could never
The
love
rest,
anything.
You just cushioned the blow for the others.
You were like,
Do you know,
I
I
remember
did-
because you told me this once. You were like, suddenly I could never love anything as much as I love my first
So full of
born child.
nonsense. At the time, no people who were pregnant didn't go on telly, but I thought, well, I might as well work while I'm pregnant because I'm kind of carrying you around inside my tummy. So I can
That's
work.
feminism, bro. That's cool.
Well, it was really unusual at the time.
If it was actually unusual.
Am I the only one that sees the
Yeah.
irony in that comment? That's feminism, bro.
But if no one was doing it before and it was like it was something that you should hide,
It was.
you demonstrated to a lot of people that you can still be a force of nature whilst you're pregnant.
Yeah, do you know, weirdly, it did have that effect, but I didn't know I was doing that at the time. I was just kind of
Do you
working.
know something funny?
Fair enough.
Is that technically we were on TV before
Yep. You've been
Before
on
we
TV
even
a
born.
very long time.
That is true. Every single last one of you was on telly before you were born.
Yeah, totally. Because I was making a lot of shows at the same time, so like about 12, and I was pregnant 4 times. So it kind of looked, because each episode, you made them all at the same time, so it looks like, so series, whatever series it was, it would look like I'd had 12 children, because I'd gone from not pregnant to not pregnant, and then in that episode, but the next one as well. So it kind of looked a bit like I had 48 children, which is why people think I had so many children.
You can't get away from the fact that you do have quite a lot of children. Sorry, we do have quite a lot of children. But what's the famous saying? I think the difference between having 2 children and 3 children is the difference between having a dog and running a zoo. And never has anything more truthful been said than that. And then you add a 4th one in. We may as well have had 6 children because it would have been the same. We had
we
no
wouldn't have been able
control
to fit
over
into a
any
car.
of you. As soon as Laurie was born and he came out, I came down to find you sort of trying to feed him porridge by just going in his face. Rafi would go.
He needed to get big and strong, and he is now much taller than all of us.
I remember when I was pregnant with you, Billy, and Dad and I had lived together for about 10 years, and I was thinking, when this baby arrives, do you know what? One of the things I worried about is I thought it's going to be like an unwanted guest. After about 3 days, I'll be thinking, like, it's going to sort of be there forever, this baby that arrives.
It's true.
And you are still here 20 years later.
I always do say that Billy chose the right moment to smile. Probably 3 or 4 weeks into, after he'd been born, and he'd kept us awake every single night, just the whole time, and we were exhausted. And I do remember I just had enough, and I was about to pick him up out of his cot and go and stick him in a cupboard somewhere. And he chose that moment to go and smile at me. And I do just remember thinking, okay, good sense of timing. Probably picked him up, put him in the bed. And I went, look, Sarah, he smiled. And Sarah went, oh, God, shut up. I was finally asleep.
No, I do remember the first night that you came back from hospital. I remember waking up about 40 minutes after I'd gone to sleep and going, Graham, he hasn't moved. He's not making any noise. Graham. And
The
then
reason why I was
waking
so
Graham up.
exhausted was that every time you slept for too long, Mum would prod you to make sure that you were still alive.
Just make me cry.
Yeah,
basically,
literally every 15
Oh,
minutes
no,
through
he's
the
still
night.
alive.
I'd be like, wake up.
What was it like having to fill this new role of parent? What did it do to your relationship?
Well,
Tested it.
You were just kind of natural. though.
No, I was scared.
Yes, you were, but you were also responsible. You've kind of, you've always been really, really good fun, but you've always been really responsible. So kind of parenting, you were like a duck to water with it, I think, a bit,
I don't know. I remember being really overwhelmed when Billy came home, and I do remember feeling really scared. And
But you had the baby blues, though, didn't you?
well,
for a
I
bit?
guess so. I guess so. But I remember just thinking, where are the grown-ups? I think there's a moment, especially when you've lived together a long time. We'd been living together for about 10 years. And there's a moment when you have a child where I think it could divide you or it could bring you together. And I guess I was really lucky because by fluke, I happened to marry someone who stepped up to the...
It always divides you.
Question.
Line.
What was Dad's reaction when you went, I'm pregnant?
That's a good one.
What? Dad's, just so you know,
that's
people
a
that are
question.
listening, he's just mouthed no and done the stop talking gesture.
So
I can't
would just like
remember
to,
what he said,
I'd just
actually.
like to let everybody know that it is something that is brought up on quite a regular basis. That the one time that I've consistently said the wrong thing, out of 50,000 right things, I've chosen the one wrong thing to say, and that is when Sarah's told me that she's pregnant with every one of you children. I think.
What have you said?
I just went, oh, we've got quite a lot already, haven't we? I think when Billy, I was going, I thought it might take a bit longer than that. Because, of course, I remember before I got married to your mother, she'd kind of had a bit of enough of my prevaricating. And she came and she said, listen, I'm not going to split up with you right away, but just so you know, we've got a limited amount of time here. So you've got 3 options. 1, we split up. 2, we get married. 3, I'm going to have a baby. And I kind of thought...
Actually, that's not true, by the way. I gave you 2 options.
What?
I said, either we can get married or I'll get pregnant. Which would you like?
I think you were trapped when you met her for the first time.
And then about 3 days later, out came an engagement ring. So that worked.
Yeah.
It was perfect.
It was kind of best
Well, you must have already had it.
What?
The engagement ring.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't going to let Mum slip through my fingers. I'd have been absolutely hopeless.
Was it hard to balance your marriage with having kids?
Do you know, it's funny because it kind of makes a marriage and breaks a marriage in a way. It's the best moments and the worst moments. I sometimes think it's the thing we argue most about is we worry because we both want the best for you. And so we're frustrated that we can't make the best thing happen for you. Whereas when you were little, you could make the best thing because you could just like lift you up and move you. So it was easier. But
I think there's something very, very peculiar. And I can only talk for a man. And I kind of think that I assume that this is very similar for all men when you have children, because frankly, I looked at all my friends who are having children and I just went, oh God, write them out of the address book, write them out of the address book. Don't need to see them for ages. Don't need to see them for ages. Oh God, another one's having, and then you have your own child as a man and all of a sudden you tend to love all children. As soon as you have one of your own, you go, oh my God, they're so sweet. Oh, it's so adorable. Oh, it's the best time of your life. It is weirdly so exciting, those moments when you have your own children and they're young, and children are really good at being boring for just the right length of time before they do something else, like Billy smiling, and you doing the same thing, and then they start walking. To be honest with you, protecting your children is one of the most important things in your life. I'm afraid making children is still one of the most important things in your life if you fancy the woman that you're married to.
oh, you're going to make them be sick.
Well,
No, I actually thought that was.
I don't really remember anything getting in the way of us having like a good time. And we didn't drink as much, and we weren't as wild as well, actually we probably were.
You guys sound pretty wild. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We weren't wild.
Did you?
We weren't.
Did you?
wild,
You
but
should have.
You know what I mean?
Did you never kind of go? Oh, I really wish that they would just go away for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we gave them to Granny.
Not 2 weeks.
No, our mums couldn't. We went. We did. We went away once for 5 days, and 2.5 days in, I remember just going in, and Mum was sitting on the hotel bed, just going, I'm ready to go home now. And I just go, what? We're just warming up. Come on, we got 2.5 more days. Sorry.
God. So what's the hardest and what's the best thing about having kids then?
Well, the brilliant thing is that nature helps you to edit out all the bits that aren't perfect. So when I look back, I think it was pretty perfect, the whole thing actually, which is lucky, isn't it? I don't remember any downsides, but
Really?
no. When there's all four of you and Dad and I together, I do sometimes think I'm just the luckiest person in the world.
I probably would think that as well. If I
The
was in
arguments
shoes.
are really unmemorable, though, aren't they?
They are a bit.
I'm trying to dig
It's
them
more
up now.
bickering, isn't it? Because you
Yeah.
bicker,
Yeah.
bicker when you've got.
But I'm
6
trying to
people in
dig
a
them up
family.
now, and I can't really think of one.
Thing I liked most about when you were little, I think, is when I loved getting you all to sleep in my bed and reading you stories, or lying on the landing with duvets reading you stories. I loved reading you
I think,
stories.
do you remember when we were doing up our house in when we were rebuilding the London house and we had one bedroom?
Yeah.
I think that was
And we
when
used to-
Mum was at her happiest.
And we used to, and
There
it was
a-
so cold because it was so cold because there was no windows or doors anywhere, and there were no walls anywhere.
Yeah.
So you basically it was impossible to get. We had to get dressed in the morning, but there was only one blower heater, so you used to have to pass the blower heater around and get dressed.
Sitting in front of
I
it.
remember.
There was also the only way that you could get to the bath and the toilet
Oh, it was across the
you had
scaffolding plank.
you had to go across one tiny scaffolding plank that was a story in the air, and you were kind of posting Laurie and Rafi, I think 4 and 6, going, go on, just go on.
Yeah, that was good. They just had to. Yeah.
I reckon that was Mum at her very, very happiest. Me on a single mattress on the floor, and the 5 of you like lion cubs in a bed together.
No,
You know,
that is
you
not true.
absolutely
You
loved
were
it.
in a-
It was quite fun. Like I look back on that. I look back on that really fondly, though.
You're 20 years on now from starting being a parent. What would you say to other people that are starting it around now?
Oh, so easy.
What's the best?
Don't blink. Don't blink, because all of a sudden they'll be 20 years old. Honestly, just make the most of it. And no matter how stressed you get, children are such a pain in the arse. You know, we haven't touched on that. You ran us ragged. We were exhausted for 15 years.
Trash the house.
Absolutely destroyed everything. You made us so cross. But we kind of blinked, and you're 20 and 18, you're men, you know.
There's a saying that with children, the days sometimes feel long, but the years go past really fast. And that is really true.
Is that your saying? I've never heard that before. It's very true.
Do you know one really sad thing?
I'm so wise sometimes. You
Yeah,
just made
well
that
done.
up on the spot, didn't you?
Go on.
I know you did as well. You're so pleased with yourself.
I didn't.
Right, Mum and Dad. After the break, we're going to quiz you on some internet culture. So, have you heard of thirst traps, Mum and Dad?
Thirst traps.
Yeah.
What's that? A pub?
No, thirst traps. It's like a online.
Thirst traps.
Yeah. It's a carefully curated photo or video posted online to attract attention, basically.
Like, tell me an example of one.
So if it would be a song and you'd be like, I don't even, looking at the camera like in a kind of,
And then you could like,
You mean
could, like,
flirting
bite
down
your
the
lip
camera
and then like
Yeah.
pull your top up and reveal
like your,
what would be 6-pack abs if you were doing a thirst trap, probably.
what would be
Normally.
6-pack
Or-
abs if you had 6-pack abs to show off is what Charlie means by that.
Yeah,
But like,
I don't have 6-pack abs, so I wouldn't be doing that kind of thirst
It's just
trap.
like a teaser.
Yeah,
But then what are you giving them afterwards once you've trapped them?
probably selling them your thing at OnlyFans.
either, maybe, or you just want them to follow you on TikTok.
Have you two got an OnlyFans account?
No,
No.
I think you should. I've got one.
That's not the answer that I wanted to my question at all. I was hoping they'd go no, and you'd also go no.
But they're not explicit either. Like it's like it's a video.
it's just you don't have to be exposing a part of your body. I mean,
So it's
more
sort
than
of
they would in the 1920s.
titillating.
But
Is it titillating people?
Yeah, exactly. You want people to find you attractive so that they're interested in in either your opinion or your
Why
music
don't you
or-
do that for your band?
Well, this is what
That's what TikTok is, isn't it?
Thing is, there's
to some
there's,
degree,
there's always someone more good looking than you on TikTok.
Yeah.
So
Oh, that's not my children. They're the most beautiful children in the
Why
world.
don't you do it for the band? You know, you could like lift up your top.
I show off my six pack.
you have been going to the gym a lot. So what's it for? Unless you're gonna.
Oh, it's for the
promote the
thirst
band.
trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Well, we'll do it tonight and see how it goes.
No.
We had 8,000 TikTok followers, and we now have 14. So, what do I have to do for a thirst trap then? What makes sure my hair's good and
Make sure you're looking good looking. The light's falling upon your face in a nice way.
a bit of makeup?
People have
makeup.
accumulated millions of followers of literally just posting a thirst trap after thirst trap.
Well, why are you
after
doing it
thirst
then?
trap. No,
Because people actually spend hours in the gym and they spend all day mewing. Something that do you guys understand what mewing is?
Just quick bracket
cats
here.
do.
Mewing is where
You go meow meow.
no mewing. No, that's meowing. That's meowing.
That's meowing.
I thought mewing was just American for meowing.
Mewing is kind of the same as like look. Do you know what I mean by looks
maxing?
looks maxing?
What?
Looks maxing.
No.
Maximizing your looks, basically.
So instead of going like this,
You have to break.
look,
Perfectly good set
look
of
at my face. Look at my
language.
face now.
Yeah.
That's my face.
Yeah.
So he's breathing through his mouth. He's being a mouth breather.
Mm-hmm.
He's like not standing up straight. He's got his mouth open. Wow. Wow. How to even
And then
describe
I'm
it?
mewing.
He's like tensing his jawline and pouting at the same
You
time.
look like a completely different person.
No,
All
you-
of a sudden, you've gone from somebody, I mean, he's sort of fairly handsome, to I'm lost for words.
I also have
The whole point is that you're when looks maxing, it's like it's maximizing your looks to try and make you posing.
It's a
To
very
make-
good word. It was there ages ago. It's called
Yeah, I
posing.
know.
There's
but everyone-
negative connotations to posing, though. Oh, he's a massive poser. You know, he's a massive max facer now. You know,
no looks maxing.
Oh, sorry, he's a massive looks maxer.
Have you posted any thirst traps?
I don't think we have. I mean, it would be. We haven't done anything directly to try and like. Of course,
Well, I've done things where I've gone. I'm feeling myself in that TikTok, so I'm going to go ahead and post that. But I'm not promoting my body. I'm trying to promote something else whilst not trying to look ugly.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everything you do is varying degrees of thirst trap because you're posting TikToks. I mean, they are quite fun and they're quite fun to do. And they're quite fun to share, but you're kind of ultimately doing it because you want people to listen to your music.
Do you think posting a thirst trap is like a shallow thing where you're being a bit vain? Or do you think it's empowering and I think I look amazing in this?
I guess that to
Confidence.
me, it depends on the substance. I sort of think if you're just posting to say, look how amazing I look, that's great. I haven't got a problem with that if that's what you want to do.
Especially if you've worked hard to go to the gym to build this body.
Yeah,
that
I
you're-
guess my only problem with it is how much time are you spending making this photo, and surely you should get on with what you're going to do. You know, are you going to be an artist, paint some pictures, or write a book, or be in a band and learn the guitar, or sing, or do what are you doing? If it's
People are so savvy nowadays, though, aren't they? You know, let's be honest.
But there are a lot of people that make a success off of being bodybuilders on.
that's cool.
social
They're
media.
sort of
bodybuilders,
my
though.
point. You know,
And
we're
models.
looking at social media as if it's not a moneymaker. It is for a whole load of people. You know, OnlyFans is different, but it's kind of social media in itself. There are so many influencers who are paid money on social media, and if that it can turn into a career, can't it?
It can.
There's
I mean,
so
I'm
many
not saying
people that have
it
a
does all
career
the time,
on
but-
social media.
But
So many.
kids are very, very savvy. So the thirst trap, you know, they'll be doing it with a view to doing something else. Now, it's like every career, you know, sometimes you haven't been a success in everything you've ever done. I certainly haven't. And, you know, you just dust yourself off and you go and try the next thing. But I think that kids who are producing these thirst traps probably have an end goal in mind.
Yeah, which is great.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think
You know,
that's
and on
quite
social
cool.
media, as Charlie says, you know, he's consistently trying. You know, I don't want to look as ugly as I can possibly look when I'm put on social media, really, you know, and I'm not that worried about it. But
No, I mean, to be honest, posing has always been
Been a thing.
the thing. So it's just a modern term for posing, which is perfectly reasonable, isn't it?
They're normally not posing. It's normally enticing someone in a sexual manner.
Okay.
It can just be posing. It's kind of an umbrella term
yeah, that's why Elvis was so popular, though, wasn't it?
because he was enticing people in a sexual manner.
Yeah.
Do you think he wouldn't have been so successful if he
It's
wasn't?
the most important thing. Like, if you're going to be
sent an entire nation crazy because he was
the
doing
Beatles-
something that he wasn't allowed to do.
Yeah, if the Beatles did it as well. Like, you have to look at, like, would all of the people that are famous be famous if they would literally just, I don't know, I'm just saying this for an example, but all the people that push boundaries and especially in music, but also in art, you know, Johnny Depp probably wouldn't be the sex symbol he is if he didn't dress in a really cool way.
But do you not think that fundamentally, the irony of all of it is that fundamentally we are just a species living on a planet, and reproduction is like pretty key to us surviving. And so people use their sexuality to promote things. They always have.
So, but it is good to be confident in your body, and I think that's kind of what it can sometimes have a negative effect on that. But I think that generally, I think that it's good to be confident in your body, and I don't think it's a bad thing at all.
After this conversation, I'm going to make sure that I am face maxing in every photo. In fact, I'm going to do it now.
No, it's called mewing now.
What?
Looks maxing. Looks
Looks max. I'm going to looks max in every photo. I might post a few thirst traps tonight, actually.
Please don't post any thirst traps tonight.
I think I might. But in the meantime, we're going to go for a break. And afterwards, we're going to have a listener question. So this is the part of the show where we take a question from you, the listeners. And this week, we have a question from Nicola. I have a suggestion for one of the podcasts. How have Sarah's sons been inspired by her career? How she and Graham have encouraged their creativity and ambition, and the role music has played in inspiring their futures.
Thank you very much, Nicola, for your
Thank you,
podcast
Nicola, for
idea.
your lovely
That is
comment.
actually, yeah.
What was the earliest music that you remember in your life?
When I was at primary school, I used to hang out with some friends for a little while, and we played a couple. We used to smash. Do you remember we played Renegade? Do you remember that song? But you were always very encouraging with it.
It's been a very important part of our relationship, I think. Music. More so now. More so for the last 2-3 years, I suppose, when we've had a band. But, you know...
Well, it's been
Raph,
probably the most important thing in my life.
one thing that you ignored in Nicola's question is, how much has Mum's career kind of influenced what you do and your attitude about stuff?
And Dad's?
Well, I think the truth is, your career started to influence us once we tried to be in the public eye, if that makes sense. But
Interestingly, I think there's definitely one thing that springs to mind, which is that you don't take days off. You don't you don't take days off.
Yeah, I sort of think the show must go on.
Yeah. You kind of.
But you do have...
But that's it.
You
like,
do have a phenomenal work ethic.
Yeah.
And if
You do.
you can kind of learn from that, I do think that would be...
It would be. I mean, I'm not saying we're perfect at it. It's just something.
But they have, and they'd never, I mean...
you work really, really, really hard, and that's
Man, play hard.
yeah, you do as well.
But I do think that if you need to work, what you do is you give up the playing, not the working.
Yeah.
So if you have a big night and then you have to go to work the next day, you go to work. The next night, when you get back from work, you might go to bed as soon as you get home from work at 8 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah.
You just go straight to bed.
yeah.
But you don't not go to work. You go to work.
Yeah,
But then there's also the thing that you influenced our career a lot because you had success in the, like, people liked you in the public eye. Like, you have enough followers to have given us a bit of a leg up, especially with the platform like Channel 4.
Yeah.
You've made us feel quite comfortable within the line of work that we want to get into. Yeah.
And I kind of think that the strength of opinion that you don't hold back with has probably been, in a way, one of the most important things, because you have very, very forthright views, and you're pretty good at picking people up when they say stupid things, and you just go, oh God, you're going to make yourself a bit unlikable if you say that.
It's been really weird, because I think you're totally right, because you've never been shy of stating your opinions, and I think that if you're behaving a little bit like kids, or
Oh my God, do you remember when you came back,
idiots,
when you were 13, and we were all having sort of tea or dinner around the table, and you must have been, what, 13?
The guy was a bit younger.
Billy came back, and the kids were really young, and he said, Dad, and I went, yeah, and he went, how old were you when you started wanking? I'm just going, I've always kind of tried to be honest, and I said, well, I'm a man, I've always played with my knob, but I suppose I started in earnest at about 13. And that was that. Everyone just went, okay.
Oh, God.
Everyone sort of looked back down and
That's
carried on eating their fish fingers. And Sarah slammed her hand down on the table and went, are you not going to ask me then? And I just remember going, oh, God. But it was that moment when you just went, okay, that's the sort of household that we are going to be living in for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
We needed to even it up a
Yeah,
bit.
I agree. And it was exactly the right thing to do. But, it was quite, we were all minding our own business. But I think that was right. I think you almost felt as if we were having a conversation that you weren't involved in. And you just went, we're going to nip that in the bud.
I was quite inspired by Dad's career and how pedantic he is with how detailed all of his paintings are and how much of a perfectionist he is. And it really comes out in the band, especially when we're trying to finish a song. We sent it to a producer, they've done it, they've brought it back, and he goes, he'll flag up like millisecond moments that no one else would ever notice, even if they were changed. And I think
painful.
No, but I think it teaches you to not really let anything creative slide if you're feeling a bit lazy, to really, really make the final outcome the best you possibly can make it, because otherwise it's never going to be as good as the #1 single in the charts at the moment, is it? So you obviously pushed the arts and creativity more than everything else, and I know that was probably because you weren't very clever academically.
I was very clever.
That's because Mum wanted you to be poor so that you'd live at home forever.
That's fair. Well, it's a pretty good job.
No, do you know what? I guess I thought school would, if you were going to be doctors and academics, I thought that's what school would teach you.
So what? So we would just decide that we wanted to do that on our own because we would enjoy school?
Yeah, I imagined. Because if you enjoyed school, then you'd be really good at all the maths and sciences, and then you'd all be doctors. And I didn't trust the school to teach you the arts properly, so I thought I'd do that myself. But actually, also, I like the arts because even when you were little, do you remember we had a really big cupboard full of like paints and like on a Saturday we'd do hand printing, or we used to paint T-shirts, or there was a lot of kind of crafting kind of stuff that we did.
Well, the thing is, I don't think I've got your work ethic. I really, really want it, but it's just not there at the moment. I'm hoping it will come along soon.
It'll be there.
I don't think a work ethic is something that just pops into your head. A work ethic is something that you decide upon and create for yourself.
Okay, well, I'm going to be creating a work ethic.
And what traits have you intentionally tried to give us?
Well,
work ethic. I haven't done that well.
Yeah, that hasn't
I
worked.
think you learn.
Maybe that's your work ethic saying there. Maybe that's what it is.
It was my work ethic that led to your work ethic not being that great.
I think confidence is really important.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think you get confidence from taking risks and failing and discovering that actually you can get up and try again.
Yeah.
So I think that's the thing that matters most.
It's not about how many times you get knocked down. It's about how many times you get knocked down and get back up again.
Fail, everybody.
Yeah.
First attempt in learning.
Yes. If you think about it now, work and family, it's all blended together. So you Oh,
When we do the
TV
series with you.
Yeah, we do the TV show together. We're now doing this podcast together. There's the band, but Dad's
Can't
in
really call
it.
any of it work though, can you? It's all quite fun.
It's all really fun, actually. I suppose what I always thought
It
is
works for us though. Loads of
might not
families
work.
I know would implode with this amount of kind of doing stuff together. They
Yeah,
hate
that
it.
is-
It's
you know.
not, like, look,
family's
but-
really important to us, I think.
It is really important. I get on with all my brothers. Sometimes it can be, we argue, we do go head to head, but you know, we kind of always are able to make up again afterwards.
That's normally because you're just throwing a tantrum about me borrowing your jeans.
I think there's upsides and downsides to working and living with your family, but I think the benefits probably outweigh the downsides of it.
Would you change it?
No.
No, I wouldn't change it.
No.
So when I go into my studio now and I'm on my own, I do send myself a bit nuts. You know, I really hate my own company. So it's very convenient for me to be able to sit around and just
Just talk.
Just have
I
a chat with everyone.
prefer it way more.
I mean, let's be honest. My favourite people are my family, so why wouldn't you want to work with them?
Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. I definitely do like it sometimes.
In the first part of the show, we talked about raising a family. Now, obviously, this can be really difficult. And if you are struggling, there is help. Family Lives is a national charity that offers support and advice for parents facing challenges. Their services include a helpline, parenting courses, and online resources, familylives.org.uk. And in our listener question, we touched on careers. So if you'd like any inspiration, the National Careers Service offers free expert advice and guidance to help people of all ages in the UK plan their careers, improve skills, and achieve their job ambitions. nationalcareers.service.gov.uk. And so that's it for this week. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining me again.
Thank you, everyone.
Absolutely no problem. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. And so next week, we'll be back. If you'd like to submit a topic for us to discuss, please email us. The address is mail@seriouslywithsarahbeeny.co.uk. Seriously was created by me, your host, Sarah Beeny, and our producer, Jonathan Profaska. The show is recorded and edited by Jonathan Profaska and Christian Kay.